All right.
Okay, we are live.
Great. So I'm just hopping into my other device to just test and make sure that everything's working correctly. Okay.
Sure.
It's not saying it's live yet on the site, so we'll wait.
Yeah, I think they have to turn that on.
Okay. I see.
Looks like we're supposed to go on mute and begin presenting slides. So I'll have the begin presenting shortly.
Okay. Yeah, you can pop on that slide. That sounds great. Do they turn it live right at 5:30, did they say?
That's the plan. Yeah, we're technically live right now, so everything we're doing is being recorded, and then 4:30 is when they'll open it up for us.
Okay. All set. All set, Mike?
All set. All right. Welcome, everyone, to EDU on Air. Really excited to join you today. My name is Mike Patterson. I'm an education strategist with CDW and also a decade veteran of the classroom. Really excited today to have with me as well Karen Greenleaf from Google. Karen, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone out there. Greetings from Maine, where I am working with Mike to bring this great session to you. I'm Karen Greenleaf. I am with Google for Education, and I work with our awesome ecosystem of partners who help bring really great tools to Chromebooks. So we'll be talking about some of those tools today.
Great. Well, let's jump in here and talk about some really exciting stuff. All right, so today we're here to talk about unlocking learning with Google's creative apps, and really excited to be able to share this with all of you today. Our time together today is going to be pretty fast, so we're going to talk a lot about preparing our students for what's next, introducing Google's creative apps, specifically talk about Soundtrap, WeVideo, and also explain everything. First, wanted to start with the idea of preparing our students for what's next. Many schools have chosen Chromebooks because they're cost effective as well as super easy to manage and share. They're also highly versatile tools that deepen student engagement by turning them into creators of multimedia content. They're not just retaining curriculum facts, but now are finding themselves diving more deeply into the concepts by becoming the teachers themselves. They can help students like this year's kindergarten class set to graduate in the year 2033 from college develop skills of the future: creativity, communication, collaboration, and critical thinking. Karen?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. So, you're right on with that slide, Mike. We talk about it all the time at Google about how we are really preparing students for jobs that don't even exist yet, right? When I was in high school, Google didn't exist. Certainly the internet was just getting off the ground. I remember being in a library, dialing the internet on a phone. I never would have dreamed that I would be working at a company like Google doing the things that I'm doing. So I think you're exactly right. We look at technology now in classrooms as a way to help prepare students for the unexpected and help them develop transferable skills that they can use throughout their career, whatever they're working on. So we were really interested in this at Google, trying to discover what those types of skills were that employers wanted to see students bring with them to their jobs. So we commissioned the Economist Intelligence Unit last year to help us do some research and talk to employers about those skills. And we learned some pretty interesting things. About 50% of executives cited that creative problem solving was the most important skill. And that makes sense, right? Technology is moving so quickly that those transferable skills and problem solving, tackling new things that you've never seen before, that type of mindset is really an important skill. 70% of executives expect skills of the future to grow in importance over the next few years. A skills gap does persist today. So Mike, if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, actually, if you think about some of the top skills that are out there going along with the Economist research, the Economist group polled about 1,500 business leaders, and they asked them the skills of the future and the things that they're looking for our students coming out of K-12. And when you think about job applications and resumes over the last few decades, they have been very specific to certain platforms, softwares, or certifications. And whether or not we choose to acknowledge it, we're in an entirely new era of skills. And the workplace is asking for things that can't be captured in just one certification or a specific software. Instead, businesses are asking for skills that are the very things we're talking about right now in K-12. And if you look at the top 5 results here, problem solving a resounding #1, followed by closely the 4 C's, which is something we've been talking about extensively in K-12 as of late, developing the very things that the creative apps we're going to show you today, we're really hoping are helping bringing those skill sets to the students. Additional evidence to help support and showcase the idea behind moving to collaboration in the cloud, the anytime, anywhere access. CDW actually put out a report this summer, K-12's Journey to the Cloud, and some really interesting data as far as almost doubling over a 2-year period the use of collaboration apps in the cloud in our schools in K-12. And the reasons for this are improving student performance and instructional time quality. And those were the top 2 drivers, ahead of things like cost and the other burdens that we're used to seeing. So a lot of that begs the question is what your school or what your district is doing to address the what's next. Karen?
Okay, so, as Google, we were really interested in helping schools discover what these tools might be. So we reached out to educators across the states, and we are increasingly working globally here. But we reached out to educators to look for those examples of classroom activities and teachers who were using tools on their Chromebooks to more deeply engage students and help students turn into creators of content themselves. So we put together a bundle of tools. Our first bundle is called Creative Apps on Chromebooks. And we've worked with the partners in the bundle and with partners like CDW to help bring those to schools at a discount. And kind of the idea here is Chromebooks are fantastic devices. They are inexpensive, they are shareable. Administrators love them because they're easily manageable. However, there's this whole separate versatility that Chromebooks bring to the classroom, where there's this huge ecosystem of tools and content that really help Chromebooks shine. This first bundle, I think, is a good demonstration of that.
So let's dive into the creative apps themselves on Chromebooks. And as Karen mentioned, some really exciting things happening with Chrome and all that we're looking to bring to schools in conversation of unlocking that creativity. The 3 apps we're going to spend some time on today, our tools, is going to be Soundtrap, WeVideo, as well as Explain Everything. And you heard the phrase a couple times already, the idea of unlocking opportunities for students, exploring things like video editing, podcasting, and having the capabilities to use an interactive whiteboard at the touch of their fingertips. Let's look at 6 reasons why you should consider bringing creative apps into your classroom. The first one, and really this idea of empowering our learners, is that students become the teachers. Nothing is more powerful than students being able to enable each other through learning by creative content and having conversation, embracing those 4 skills that we were talking about before. The second being that students explain the thinking behind their work. If you remember all of our journeys through the K-12 education space, we were always asked to show our work and what that meant to us. And now think about how that meaning and how the opportunities to show their work can become such a new and exciting way that they can really have a genuine amount of buy-in into.
Yeah, multimedia really takes showing work to a new level, right? Like when I was in school, I'd show my work using pen and paper, and that was it. I didn't necessarily have another opportunity. You know, there were the occasional dioramas and things like that that I would put together, but having multimedia tools really, takes the ante up.
Yeah, I myself even cringed a little bit at the phrase showing my work because it brought me right back to my all-time favorite math classes.
Sure, I bet.
So another way to think about this is the idea of students getting creative and engaged with the curriculum, finding new ways to personalize learning for them, to get them to buy into what you're talking about, but then to take it even a step further and really dive for meaning that they're interested in finding in the work and uncovering opportunities to find different ways to embrace that content. Then the next being collaboration opportunities beyond just the G Suite. Now through multimedia, if you think about all the great ways that we could collaborate using all of the tools in G Suite, and now providing an opportunity to add a whole new level of creativity, critical thinking, and communication to that, it really opens the doors to possibilities for our students. The next being cross-curricular or cross-grade apps for all types of classrooms. We talk a lot about finding ways to tie in curriculum from other parts of the K-12 space. This is a great way to do that because students can pull in past learning and things that they've learned in other classes, both currently and, as I mentioned in the past, to enrich their experiences with the curriculum. And the last one being content and experiences that are curated by teachers and trusted by administrators. Like everything else in the G Suite, these apps are brought with the idea of having students have the freedom of creativity, but still in a safe and manageable environment. Karen?
As part of our journey in speaking with educators about these tools, we visited a school in Blaiswood, South Carolina, where we got to look at how each one of these tools were being used in the classroom. They were doing a public service announcement on the importance of washing hands, for example, in Soundtrap. In WeVideo, they did a documentary about a flood that had ravaged their town, and they did that in a social studies class. And then I saw Explain Everything being used in a math class where students were kind of animating their thinking around what a histogram was. So we've actually captured this on video, and if you go to this URL, you can watch that video and see some of these apps in action.
Awesome. So let's take a look at the first application that highlights the Creative Apps bundle, and the first one being Soundtrap. And so just highlighting Soundtrap, students use this tool as a way to really practicing listening skills and speaking skills, and this can be used in both individual and group settings, combining sounds, unlocking a variety of ways for them to soak in different types of information. And you can see this in a variety of levels in the K-12 space, in drama and music classes, very simply being able to create background music, being able to record voiceovers for projects that they're working on. There's so many different things that our students can do. Karen?
In addition to that initial video that I mentioned, we also have videos from each partner in the bundle, including Soundtrap, that you can go to at that URL that I mentioned earlier. And I also encourage all you listeners out there to just hop online and do a search for Soundtrap and WeVideo and Explain Everything, and you'll see examples on the web too.
So there's a lot of media creation apps that are out there, and the reality is that most of them are really too much for a novice user in K-12. And as exciting as it would be to try to guide them through some of these apps, the folks at Soundtrap wanted to do more with less. So let's enter the studio and take a look at what this would look like from our students' perspective. So jumping in, your students will be greeted with a profile. They have the ability to introduce themselves, and then in class, they have the opportunity to enter into the studio. And once they jump into the studio, there's really a lot of exciting things that they can do in here. And right off the bat, they can select a blank template. They can also build out or build from prearranged pieces of pop music, choirs, podcasts, you name it. But the key here, and what we're going to be looking at focusing on, is the fact that this app is meant to help develop the listening skills, develop the speaking skills for our students, because they can record their voices and they can hear it back. They can do that live with a large group of their classmates, or they can do it with the comforts of their headset. So very quickly looking at those template options and then jumping into what we have in front of us here, there's a variety of things that you can do once you're inside of Soundtrap. And the first, in browsing loops, just very simply looking at using music as a part of a background for a story that you're telling or a voiceover for a project that you're doing. You have the ability to drag and drop and filter in a variety of different types of instruments, music, tones, etc., that come into your recording. You also have the ability to import files directly from your drive and drop them straight into your Soundtrap project. So we're just going to very simply, and this would be an opportunity as well to play an instrument or also to capture some of your own audio. So we're actually going to do a quick sample here, and as you can see, and adding a new track, you have the ability to put things into a very specific category of sounds, such as guitar and bass, piano and keyboards. But for the purposes of what we're looking at in the K-12 space, and the majority of the adoption is going to be in that voice and microphones. So let's jump in there. And as you can see very quickly, the microphone pops up on the screen at the bottom, a very easy to interact spot where we just hit record. So let's see how this goes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2016 EDU On Air. Just like that, we've got our recording. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2016 EDU On Air. So what was a very simple example, you can imagine the possibilities that this unlocks for our students. Really excited to share that with you, and also to encourage you to open this up to your students, letting them explore and really get excited about the types of things that they can do within Soundtrap.
Yeah, and just wanted to add one more thing to that. Because Soundtrap is collaborative, you can have students doing work, homework, for example. Maybe they're doing some type of collaborative interview process where one student is interviewing the other student. Well, they can actually do that remotely and drop in different audio tracks within the same set and move those audio tracks around and edit them as they wish, even though they're not physically together. It's pretty cool. And you know, there's lots of other examples out there. Here are a few up on the screen. Looks like someone's writing some songs about the scientific revolution. In second grade, they're doing biographies. You know, the possibilities are endless here.
The next app we wanted to jump into is WeVideo, and WeVideo is something that really, again, much like Soundtrap, unlocks a lot of possibilities with our students. It stores everything in the cloud. It's safe. It can be managed and monitored by teachers and admin. And once again, one of the affordances of cloud is the fact that students and teachers can access their work from both the school computers and also from home or public computers. The end game in driving them to this idea of, okay, we're making this project, but then what? To have the power of actually publishing these videos and sharing their work in that connected classroom idea with classrooms maybe in the same district or with districts around the globe. So really some powerful possibilities. Karen?
Yep. Again, you know, more video case studies, I think, for you to look at. This one I thought was really pretty compelling. And all of these materials will be available to you after this session. So you can just hop right in and watch those videos yourself.
So this is just a quick sample interface of what WeVideo looks like. And I'd really like to jump in and show everyone the WeVideo interface. Very easy to use regardless of ability level. So when you first log in and to get into WeVideo, you're offered the opportunity to create new content as well as interact with old content. So I'm going to quickly jump into create new just because I wanted to show you a couple things. The first option is video editing. The second is actually building a project. So when you think about capstone projects or portfolios that we're striving for with our students, this is a great way to build a collection of things that they've worked on in the past. And something that I'm really excited, and I know Karen is too, to share, in the project space in particular, this is where you're really creating opportunities for students. And so every project, you have the ability for that user to create a personal project, to create a collaborative project where the students are working together on the same file, very similar to the abilities in G Suite. They have the access to the same resources, all are collaborating together, and from a teacher standpoint, all of the things that they are doing are trackable by the user, time and date stamped, just like the things we love within the G Suite. The last one is the shared environment. So giving students their own projects to work on, but then allowing them to pull from a common file or a common source of media really gives you a lot of different options for your students in your class. We're actually going to jump into a demo that I had started previously. So we're going to continue editing. And when you jump into the project, some things to note: you have My Media, which you can link directly to your Drive folders, your stuff that's on your computer. And then what that shows you is a variety of media that's on the page. And so when you look at all of the different types of media that's on here, you have really an uncanny ability to look at a variety of pieces of information that you can move back and forth with as you are looking to create all of the things on the screen. And as you can see in my interactions in the bottom, there's a lot of content that you can work through. There are two different ways you can look at this. This can be in more of a storyboard mode, tongue twister there, that allows you to simply just drag and drop things into the storyline. Going back into the timeline mode that I had before, this actually gives you the ability to bring pieces of information such as video content or actual video stills or pictures and drop them into your video, giving you the option to insert it in between. So we're going to insert and push content. And I had the privilege, if some of you hadn't noticed, the Go Cubs Go, of being down at Disney and actually getting to see the world champion Chicago Cubs interacting with the crowds, celebrating their championship. And so you can see here, I'm very simply adding things in to this storyboard, and that'll allow me at the end to start at the very beginning and run through the presentation. Everyone's favorite song, right, Karen?
Yeah.
So you get the idea. And again, some really exciting things that you can do with WeVideo. Hopefully for all of you that are not Cubs fans out there, that didn't just turn you off of this great app that you can bring and use with your students.
And again, lots of different examples out there: math tutorials, science projects, science fairs, a lot of social studies. School classrooms are using this tool. Yeah.
Great. So we're transitioning to our last app here, and we want to talk about Explain Everything, which is a creativity app that offers a ton of options. So it gives users the opportunity to create slides with a variety of multimedia using things like photos, video, web links, shapes, files, text, audio recordings. Highlighting this app continued is that it's connected and integrated with a variety of cloud apps. It has built-in screencasting, something that's become increasingly popular in K-12. And its design and presenter tools are things that are made super easy for all users K through 12, as well as the teachers that are interacting with those apps.
Okay, so Mike, would you like to try to give me access so I can demo the app for everyone? Thanks for your patience, everyone out there. Sometimes the switchover takes a little bit of time. I should be presenting to everybody now, I believe. Mike, do you see that on your end too?
Whenever you are ready.
All right, great. Can you see my screen now, Mike? Oh. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay. Hopefully. Sometimes this is a little dicey with Hangouts, so if it doesn't work, I'll just be able to talk through it.
All right, let's try one more time.
Okay, sure. Let's give it a shot. Okay, I think it should be working now. Says that I have access. I'm going to go through and voice over it, and if you can't see my screen, I apologize. We can always post a separate video of the demo. What I love about Explain Everything is it really showcases the capability of touchscreen Chromebooks. It also works on not touchscreen Chromebooks, but it's particularly cool on a touchscreen Chromebook. So right now I am in Explain Everything, and I'm going to open up a new template, if you can see me do that. I'll show you how it works. I'll give you a real example in my house. So one of my kids, I have 3 kids, one of them is in 2nd grade and he's working on number bonds. And he's obsessed with number bonds. So I'm gonna go ahead and write number bonds here. There you go. In fact, I'll just do an example, number bond example. So you'll see that I'm writing on the screen right now. So let's see, my number bond example will be how 20, which is the sum, is broken out into 2 parts, 13 and 7. And then I can actually talk over the work that I just did. I can record my work. So I'm gonna hit the record button. And now the application is capturing my voice. So I'm going to show you my number bond example where I'm looking at the number 20, which is the sum, and I'm dividing it into two parts, into 13 and to 7. And I'll hit the stop record button, and I can actually play that audio back. And now the application is capturing my voice. There you go. So this is pretty cool. And some of the creations that students have made get really quite intricate. There's some pretty, it's just some cool things you can do here. You can take your work, you can move it to the side of the screen like I'm doing now. You can import video that you've created in WeVideo. You can import audio that you've created in Soundtrap, where you really have like an app smashing type of experience. So super versatile tool. And I guess back over to you, Mike. I will hit exit and it should hopefully stop screen sharing. But you are on mute, Mike.
Thank you, Karen.
There you go.
Gentlemen, we have reached the end of our time together today. Really enjoyed spending time with you to discuss the Creative Apps Bundle for Google, and really believe that this is something that's going to unlock the creative possibilities for our students in our schools. So thank you again so much for attending, and hope you have a great rest of the weekend.
Yeah, thank you so much. All of this material will be posted on the website. So Mike's presentation, which embeds all of those videos that we were talking about earlier. There's also great resources on the web. Each one of the companies in the App Bundle has case studies posted on their websites. We at Google have some case studies posted as well. And I did just want to call out, there are a few questions in the Q&A, Mike, that I just thought would be helpful to answer. Someone asked how much these apps cost. So the apps, when they are bundled together, cost $9.99 per student per year. Okay, so it's like an annual subscription. And then there's discounting depending upon how many you buy. So there is volume discounting. And then another person had asked if they could get that URL again. So that, that URL where you can get more information, that will be in the presentation. And it's also at g.co/apps. So again, that's g.co/edu Chromebook apps. Sorry about that. So if you have any other questions, feel free to post them to Twitter. We'd love to answer them. And thank you so much for joining us today. This was a lot of fun, Mike.
Thanks, everyone. Pleasure was all mine, Karen.
Great. All right. Thanks. Have a good day.
Bye, everyone.